All right, hello. I am Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to another episode of 360 and Me. I am so excited. As you can see, I'm back in my home and in the kitchen, and I've got a special guest standing next to me. And as we are here, I got Miss Natalie Montez. We're going to be talking about the celebration of Thanksgiving and how doing Thanksgiving doesn't have to be traditional, and especially when you have a single family home, you're single period, so how do we celebrate? So today we're going to show y'all some cool things, and you can't really see right now what's on the table, but you will, and you're going to get an opportunity to hear Natalie's story. And Natalie, why don't you go ahead and reintroduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Of course, and thank you so much for having me here in your kitchen. I'm so excited. I always love it when we can get together and do a show together, but this one is special because it's all about Thanksgiving. Right. And what is, I own a business called Divino by Montez, and what I do is I like to bring the wines down to our level into your home, wherever you might be, and help you pick the wines that fit your palate, that fit your event, that fit your lifestyle, and learn how to navigate the wines in a grocery store or wherever you might be. So wines can be very scary when you see a sea of wine bottles across a grocery store or anywhere else.
I still go through that process. Yeah, I'm like,
So I love sharing my passion of wine and helping people understand the grapes that they like, where they come from, regions, things like that, to help you bring the right the right wine to your table and your event. So I'm excited to be here and get started.
All right. Well, as she said, it's crazy. I had to laugh for a second there because I know when I get into the store, I'd be like, there's just too much going on in here. So you end up sticking with the same types of wines because you're kind of scared to get out there and be like, well, if I get this wine and I take it home, I didn't spend, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever dollars, and it's
yes, exactly.
Because you don't really know what you're getting to. So having this young lady, I'm telling you guys, I've known Natalie for a long time, and her expertise on wine is incredible.
Thank you.
And so I'm just excited to have you here, and y'all just don't know, we got some goodies on this table. We're gonna be getting to it. So go ahead, Natalie, tell us what you got here today.
All right. So one of the most important, I feel like, well, I wouldn't say most important, but it's so important in the beginning of your event, your meal, as you're welcoming your guests, you have appetizers. You're always looking for things to put on the table to graze and snack on as everyone is getting settled and coming. So I have chosen Pinot Noir is one of my favorite grapes, and I love that it is just so versatile that it goes throughout your entire Thanksgiving dinner, actually, because it matches almost every dish you have on the table. So I have found a gem of Noir grapes in a Pinot Noir Rosé. This is kind of hard to say. It's a Sancerre. It's French. And so this one is going to be a medium-bodied rosé that is perfect for appetizers. And what you can't see on the table, and we have appetizers. You want to hold that up?
Absolutely.
Appetizers, we have a charcuterie board, so this is perfect for that. It is great with salads, brunch, barbecue, and especially appetizers. So we have that, cheese and almonds, and have some olives. And these olives are brined in orange and yummy deliciousness. It's going to be perfect for this. Ooh. So, Kimberly, I'm going to pour you a small glass, and we're going to do a little taste. You see the color of this wine. It is so clear.
It is nice and bubbly.
Crisp.
It looks good. Mm-hmm.
This is a fabulous way to start off the evening. It's refreshing, and I'm excited for you to see what you guys love and for you guys to taste this wine and enjoy your appetizers together. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yes. It's yummy.
Yes.
Very light.
Very light.
That's the thing that I like about it.
But it leaves a lasting impression.
So tell me what are you actually tasting? Because you have, like I said, a very distinct way of how you can tell if something's good or not good.
Well, the way that, for me, and I really am big on everybody's wine experience is their own. So I don't like to tell people this is what's in the wine and no, you don't taste this and no, you don't taste that. Wine is so there's so much depth to it in the way that it's grown, the soil that it's grown in, that you can taste whatever you taste. It's your palate, right? So I can taste some stone fruits in here.
Okay.
I taste some sweetness from like flour. I taste like pear. Let's see.
And it's the smell.
Oh yes, and the plum. I taste a very light hint of plum in here. So you can see that, you know, the color is just.
It's beautiful.
It's like a rose. It's like like rose gold.
Right.
Rose gold. You know, like a morganite stone. So this is very. It's very light, but the finish is bold. So it is a very good way to start when you have a charcuterie board with cheese and meats and almonds, and you've got those sweet flavors plus the salty flavors of the olives. I think this is just perfect, and you want to keep this chilled to serve it nice and chilled and have it in an ice bucket and just pour some glasses to start with for your guests to kind of mingle and chat together. And whoever's helping in the kitchen, it's a nice refreshing way, so that because it's hot in that kitchen.
Right.
You know?
Right. So you feel good. But so, you know, let's just take a couple seconds and try some of the cheese and everything that's on the board and see how we do feel and taste about it, because, you know, like I said, it's one thing to look at it, but look, we're not just here to give y'all an opportunity to you know,
to hear about it.
We
have to watch us enjoy it.
Exactly. So we are going to, I know y'all ain't gonna like this, but we're gonna do it anyway. Okay. Yes. So here's you know, fork for you. So and matter of fact, I guess I should have grabbed I'm gonna rock behind you here and grab couple of more plates that I had.
I'm going to start off with this juicy apricot with it and see what it tastes like. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
So we are going to taste test this and see what we think. And I really want to dive in these olives because I love olives. So
I'm so glad to hear that.
I am an olive fanatic. So
I'm not an olive fanatic, but I know when olives go well with something, and this is that situation. And I saw these at the store, and I knew that with this wine, that this was going to be delicious. What do you think?
The olives, first of all, are amazing. So down to taste this afterwards to see what the wine I think is going to be my next here. Let's see when we go. Nice balance. And the thing I love about it is that you have kind of that salty sweet with the olives, and then you have this light. I mean, this wine is so light. It's one of those you have to be very careful because you're gonna be thinking you're drinking a little Kool-Aid.
I know.
And
then it hit you before dinner.
Kool-Aid, exactly. So you know you have to be very careful, but it's so good.
Yes. It has a good boldness, but a light boldness. It leaves a lasting impression. Like I said before, it's the best way that I can really describe it or explain it, because it's got the clarity, but it is a party in my mouth.
Right. Exactly. That is a great way to describe it.
It is hitting all the tasting zones on your tongue, and it is definitely a party.
And I am a cheese fanatic too, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna grab a knife and try to.
We're just gonna get our fingers in here, girl. I got some cranberries on here. Yes, ma'am. Get a couple crackers.
So we can try, because look, whew, y'all gonna wish y'all was in this kitchen when we get done, because we got some other amazing treats. Oh, y'all
and this is
just don't know.
Great way to have a small family gathering, whether it's, you know, biological family or your chosen family, like Kimberly said, and to make it fun, to make it not so the pressure, you know, like the traditional, like it has to be. Start at this time, you have to start with this, you have to eat this, you have to drink this, like tradition. You can make your tradition however you want it to be.
Tasty. I know y'all are like, oh, you know what? They're making me hungry. This is so good. And I'm one who just really enjoys cheeses as well. So when you get the opportunity to mix the two, and then mix the dates and the fruits, you know, the dried fruits with it, and the salty cracker, and then you get this soft, amazing wine that just is gonna roll down your throat. I mean, it's like you said, your palate. Everybody's palate is different, but it's just an enjoyable taste.
So this is a perfect way to start your evening off, and we will also make sure to link these in the show notes, as well as in your upcoming newsletter for Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
We're going to have that out soon. So this is it. This is where it's at, guys. This is where it's at.
That's right. Remember, Thanksgiving isn't all just about feeling like you have to be with family and doing some of the old, the old tradition. And there's nothing wrong with tradition. But, you know, when you are you get a little older and your kids are grown, and there's just everything kind of can be different. Right. You don't have to, you set your own tone for your own household. And for me, being single is like, my kids much growner, so it's just we don't have time to say like, oh, let's just have this 10-course meal when there's only the two of you. And then if it's not the two of us, 90% of the time it's just me.
That's right. So and for me, it's like, being able to steer away from tradition. It was scary at first. I mean, I'm like, what do you mean we're not going to have this and this and this?
Right.
But in talking to you previously and talking to my kids, it's like, now that I'm newly single and a single mom, I am really excited about changing that up.
Right.
What do the kids love and what do I love? And we put all that together, and that's going to be our Thanksgiving dinner.
Right. And the thing that's really cool too is that we recently just talked with the kids, your kids, about what it meant to understand what gratefulness and gratitude and being thankful is all about. And, in that conversation, we really honed in on the fact that what we provide now is what we live with for our future. And what your kids see is something that they're going to be pouring out into their future. And so tradition is all about what you have in your household, not so much about what we used to have in our households, right?
That's right.
So again, this is delicious. So we need to move on to the next wine, girl.
That's right.
Here we go.
See you there.
Cheers. Cheers.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back to the second half of our 360 and Me show. And we've been talking about having Thanksgiving and the non-traditional things. And as you can see, now I'm in the other portion of this kitchen. And you can see I got some goodies over here. I done whipped it up, girl.
You guys can't smell it, but
whipped it up.
Good.
I have some amazing chicken I have made with some chopped fresh potatoes as well. And the reason why I picked this dish is because, as we talked earlier, is that it's not always about having the same type of consistency when it comes to Thanksgiving. And especially when you're single or you have a small family, you don't really want to have a huge turkey all the time, but we also still want to be able to enjoy good food and also think about being healthy along the way, right? And because I'm getting older, so I can't afford to be having any more gut than what I have.
And we're drinking wine, so
and drinking wine. But this is also another opportunity to talk about how this wine can pair with a great chicken breast and some fresh vegetables and a potato. And y'all gonna see me cooking in just another second. I had to get this started because I'm using my amazing Power XL grill that I love. It's a combo grill it is the Cadillac version of all air fryers. It doesn't just air fry, it bakes, it grills, it sautés, it does everything that you could possibly do without having to use your actual oven or the stove. So let's talk about, like I said, real briefly, how the wine, and what was the name of the wine again?
Oh my goodness. It's a French wine. It is a Pinot Noir Rosé. So this is a gem of a find. I need to grab the bottle in order to actually, it's over here in the fridge. But the name, it's hard to say, but I will, again, like we said before, we'll put it in the show notes and everything, but it is delicious and it's perfect. Thank you so much, Olivia. It's called the Sancerre, and it's 100% Pinot Noir grape, and it's a rosé. So I don't know if you can put all of that together in your mind. Is your mind blown right now? Yes, my mind is blown by the fact that I'm not typically a fan of the rosés or the white wines as much, but Pinot Noir is my favorite grape. So to find one that is in a rosé that is fresh, that goes along with beautiful white meats like this and fresh vegetables that Kimberly is about to cook. So this wine moved right from appetizer time into dinner time. So that is what's fabulous to do. If you don't want to go towards a heavier wine or a red wine for dinner, you can stick with this. And it's perfect. So we will put those notes, this wine in the show notes, but this is what it is, and it is delicious.
All right. Here. All right, so now we're going to move over into the actual cooking phase of the show. So I'm excited about this.
Excited.
So before we get started, could you do me a favor? And I have all my little seasonings over there. So we're going to use those seasonings to put into this delicious. I really stick with maybe. No, this is oil. I really only use a couple of different things when I'm seasoning because I don't feel like you have to have a whole lot. And I'm all into powders. I do still use on occasion actual salt. One of my favorites here that I like my grinders is my pink Himalayan, I can't even speak today, salt, which is good on occasions. You don't need a whole lot of it either, but I do keep it around.
I love Himalayan salt
because it has such an amazing flavor to it, right?
It
Give me that.
Yes,
Quick, sorry.
I love being a sous chef here in Miss Kimberly's kitchen. This is a treat. This is such a special
So I'm gonna
treat.
whip it up real quick. So what I'm gonna be doing is sauteing. Oh, I got the wrong one. Guess if I get the wrong item. All right. So I like to saute kale and cabbage. And some people, particularly like to use kale by itself, where you're, or either mixed in with collard greens and so forth. But for me, I enjoy my kale actually by itself, and sauteing it is a quick version and a quick way of being able to get that vegetable on the plate very quickly. And same thing with cabbage. The old-fashioned way of doing cabbage I used to grow up with is the way of, you've got to put it in and boil it, and boil it to death to the point where you can't, really enjoy the whole purpose of you're taking away the enjoyment of the vegetables.
Right, cooking the nutrients all out.
Exactly. So what I currently now is a little bit of butter and a little oil in the skillet because that gives the flavor that we're going to be mixing with all the other good stuff. Wow. One of the main items that I love to use is my adobo. I love it. It goes good with everything. You don't hardly need anything else, to be honest with you. And then the other thing that I love the most is the badilla. It's a complete seasoning. It's just another thing that I love because it kind of gives it another kind of taste to it that is different and unique, but it all blends in very well with the other things. So what I'm going to do, so you're going to see that I have freshly nice red as well as white onion and then the kale. So I'm going to start diving this stuff in here.
I love the freshness.
Thank you. And you can hear that, girl. Y'all can hear that sizzling. Hear the sizzling.
And it looks so gorgeous and fresh.
Yeah. We're going to put this in here, kind of get some things moving around.
Wow. I've never tried doing my kale and cabbage this way before.
Yeah.
I'm definitely trying this next.
It's a great way to, like I said, do a quick version because a lot of times we don't have time. I'm one that when I like to do a meal, I want my meal done in an hour and a half tops.
Yes,
tops. And
for me, 30 minutes is where I'm at.
Exactly.
As a single mom.
Exactly. But when you're doing something kind of special, you just want something quick. And I'll be honest with you, there's many times where I will actually take my kale and cabbage and that's all I'll eat. Maybe with some pasta or something like that because it just gives you all that freshness that you need. And now I'm getting ready to throw in the cabbage. Take this big piece out, that's too much. All right.
Okay.
You can slice that a little more. So I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. And it's the same thing. You just bring it in, let it saute. We're going to put some seasoning on here in a second. But I want to get that little bit of butter and the oil, because that's the most important part to get it to cook down, and then we'll put the top on.
And how did you discover these recipes? Because I would have never. I make kale. I make kale chips. I do kale soup. I've made cabbage soup. With Italian sausage, like all of these things. But I've never.
Well, probably about it's probably been about 6, 7, 8 years ago. A friend of mine told me, "Hey, have you ever tried to do your cabbage in on the skillet?" And I was like, "No, nobody does that. Who does that?" Well, but the key was that I learned was that it was much healthier, of course, and it was quicker. Like I said, the traditional way of doing anything with cabbage or collard greens or anything like that, you actually have to boil it. That's what most people do is boil, right? I'm not one who's into a lot of boiling. Everything about
seasoning's going in, y'all.
Ooh, y'all look at that seasoning. Ooh, looks delicious. Looks delicious. We're gonna take that seasoning and put it in there as well. Then we're gonna start to mixing again, and then eventually we're gonna put that top on.
Okay, and then let it sort of steam
Yes.
on itself. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we'll come back and we'll stir some. But you can see, it looked like I was putting at first a lot of too much kale or too much.
Oh,
You
but
can
it
see
cooks
how
down.
quickly it cooks down.
Yes.
And another thing I love about doing it this way is that it's not, you're not getting watery. It's not overly watery.
Okay.
It's not overly oily. It's just enough.
Yeah,
Now, obviously,
it's got the perfect like glaze on it. The perfect, you can tell that it's not too much.
and it looks pretty too. It looks pretty.
And let me tell you, butter I learned was so good for cooking kale.
Yes.
Butter with kale.
Yes.
But I never thought to use both together.
Yep.
Because they both have their
distinctness and elements,
yeah,
exactly.
for cooking,
exactly.
like the way they heat, the way they cook into the food. You know?
Mm-hmm. And the one thing I've learned too, when you're cooking this type of dish, it's all about the texture. So you have to decide what you're comfortable with, right? Versus, following what you think is just following the exact directions. I'm not one who likes to follow a lot of directions. When I love to cook, I like to cook.
Yes.
That's the reason why I don't bake, girl.
Yes.
Me and baking just do not get
bake
along.
because you have to follow too many exact,
Exactly.
and I tend to ruin it.
Exactly.
Whereas cooking, you can be creative. You can be, you just kind of go with it. Cook from the smell. Smell it and know that you need more of this or that.
And you can see as this is cooking down,
Oh, yeah.
it just is starting to look really, really good. Really, really good. We're gonna put a little more. I want to put some more seasoning on. I'm gonna put the top on.
I can see why this is perfect for this wine. This is perfect.
Exactly.
I mean, this wine is it's not too heavy. It's light enough, but it still leaves that lasting flavor in your mouth that will go perfect for these fresh vegetables.
Yeah, exactly. And so the key is, you want to watch it simmer down a little bit, and then you definitely want to keep testing it and checking it out. Like I said, it's really all about how you like the texture. For me, I definitely want it to be cooked down, but I also don't want to, like we said, lose all the nutrients and all the crunch and stuff like that. And for those who like a little bit more seasoning, obviously you can add your pepper, which I'll probably add a little pepper later. And we add a little bit of salt depending on. But when you're trying to, I think when I think about feeding other people, you got to be cognizant about what is healthy and what's not healthy, because what you may think is healthy may not be healthy for somebody else, right? So the key thing is making sure that you can actually have good food that tastes good, but also being very understanding that you're not just serving yourself.
That's right.
Right.
It's easy to oversalt, so I always try to remember people can add salt at the end, so try to hold back on that salt. I don't really cook with salt. I like to use fresh herbs and seasoning more than salt.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, I'm really into definitely the seasoning. Everything has to be the powder. And like I said, I will keep the salt around because we're all human. We all like a little salt every now and then. But I have to think about my healthiness as well. So we're gonna just pull this up a little bit more, and you can see that it just looks so good.
It's perfect.
It looks so good. And wait till we put this on a plate. Y'all just don't know this is what I be doing up in this kitchen, okay? I love to cook. I cook almost every day. Maybe a couple days out of the week, I'm like, I ain't doing this. I'm gonna go out here and cheat. Have my burger and some cheese and some bacon, all the things I'm not supposed to have, but enjoy, because we're human. You don't want to take away everything that you love.
Yep.
When you
deprive yourself, you fall out of your healthy habits a lot easier.
Exactly.
Versus when you kind of just in moderation.
Exactly.
Cheat a little bit,
Just look at it. It just looks
Yeah,
so
it's
beautiful.
perfect.
Beautiful colors. You got the red onion, the white onion. You got the beautiful greenery from the kale, and then you have the beautiful light cabbage, the white cabbage. Yeah.
That is a nutrient-dense, packed side right there. Veggies.
Yes. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more on the lower end, so we're not overcooking.
Okay.
So, this is just, like I said, another way of how you can enjoy a great Thanksgiving meal. And even if it's not Thanksgiving, this is a great opportunity just to have a weekend or daily meal. And, you can use the meat. The thing I love about those chicken breasts that I made, you don't have to just use it for the weekend. You can slice those chickens. Obviously, there's a lot of meat there. And I put that in a nice salad because I love my salads. Yes. So, having a nice salad, or you can make and shred it, and you can have a great turkey sandwich, or you can make it like a tuna fish, like with turkey, or the chicken breast. The other thing I enjoy with the chicken breast is I love making fresh homemade soups. So chicken soup, this is a great way to use that with chicken soup as well.
Amazing.
So, and as well as using these same ingredients, you can take the same kale, you can take the cabbage, all of this, and make it into an actual soup.
Such a great idea. That's what I do in my refrigerator too. At the end of the week, I love, especially the fall and winter, making a big pot of soup with everything in the fridge.
Yes, absolutely. So I hope you guys have enjoyed another episode of 360 and Me. It's a special treat. I just love having the opportunity to have you in my kitchen. I will be inviting you back again soon because we got another segment coming up. Cheers. All right. So welcome back. We are here getting ready to have a fabulous dinner that was prepared. As you seen me earlier, we got the great chicken breast, and we have the kale and cabbage mix, as well as we have some wonderful potatoes that chopped up, nice potatoes that were cooked with this wonderful dinner. And we also brought our appetizers back to the table, and we have a new wine that Miss Natalie is going to introduce to us. And we have another special guest sitting on the side of us, so I'm going to let Natalie take care of that. So go ahead.
All right. So you guys have seen the wines that we've had to take us through our Thanksgiving meal. I hope you guys have found some interest in those, and they've piqued your interest a little bit. But to finish off with our dinner that Kimberly has made for us, we have a Pinot Noir from France, Couvent des Jacobins. We will link that. We will put that in the show notes because I have had trouble with these French words today. But this is a Pinot Noir, and like I said before, the Pinot Noir grape is my favorite grape because it is so versatile, and it does go with the entire Thanksgiving table of food that you could even think about preparing, whether it's traditional or whether it's non-traditional, for your guests. So this is going to be a delicious plum-filled, full-bodied Pinot Noir. So not a full-bodied like Cabernet with the heaviness, but in a Pinot Noir, there's a spectrum. There's your lighter Pinot Noirs, and then you have your heavier, I don't even want to say heavier, I want to say fuller-bodied, because those are my favorite Pinot Noir grapes, because I like that lasting impression. I really love the fullness of flavors, the bursting plums and garnet, sort of like deep, earthy flavors in the Pinot Noir, but on a lighter side.
Right.
So that's why this goes great throughout your Thanksgiving meal, no matter what you decide to have. And it's also so enjoyable. Get yourself a few bottles because it's not going to last long around a big table of guests.
Exactly.
And if you have a small table of guests, you're going to want some for later. So you'll have leftovers for the week. So have some of this on hand.
All right.
And not last but not least, we have my daughter Olivia here, who has been so gracious to help us with filming, being basically our one woman tech crew.
Exactly.
And she was such a joy to have. We also made sure to have at the table an unleaded version of sparkling cider for the young ones. So don't forget the little people at your table. Grab yourself a sparkling cider to share with the little ones as well. And we just thank you for being here.
Thank you.
That's right. I thank you for helping us out. Like I said, it's always a pleasure. You want to bring your family in.
That's right.
And, being that me and Natalie both are small businesses, to bring your daughter in to be a part of this experience so she can understand what it means to be a small business owner and how you communicate and share that information, not with just ourselves, but with the world, right?
That's right.
So thank you so much being our techie for the day. She's doing her job. So of course I had to feed my child. Okay. This is my extra child over here. So it's time for us to enjoy this delicious meal. But
this is going to be delicious.
This is going to be so good. But before we dive into this amazing meal, cheers to both of you ladies.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
And cheers to
all of you. All right, welcome back. We have just finished up a fabulous meal. Yes. So now we're going to talk about having dessert and what wine did you compare that dessert up with, right?
Yes, I have picked a sweetheart of a dessert. Again, it's from France. So this one, difficult to say. Like I said in our previous episodes, we'll post this in the show notes. This is a medium sweet wine for the dessert, okay? So this is called a Lion's Luduirat.
Ooh,
okay.
Fancy.
Yes,
fancy.
so fancy.
See, we do it up around here.
We do.
Okay.
So this one is, we're gonna taste this together, but this is a medium sweetness. It's velvety, and it is, so if you're not big into sweet wines, this is perfect for your, your event, your guests and things. It'll go with any dessert that you have on your table. This is a great complement to all kinds of traditional Thanksgiving desserts and even untraditional Thanksgiving desserts. It really has here for us.
Yes, we have a beautiful brochet chocolate chip, cream brochet type dessert. So it's one of my favorites, and I was like, you know what? We got to try this with a good wine. So we're going to enjoy this too while y'all sitting up here looking at us, okay?
Right.
Cheers!
Oh,
Ooh,
it is
that
velvety.
is delicious.
It is so good.
Oh,
so
my
this
goodness.
is definitely not too sweet for the palate. It's not
Right.
overly sweet, but it's got that just enough, that dessert sweetness, just that little dessert
It's
that
very,
you want to have
very
at the end
nice.
of a night, at the end of a good meal. Look at that color.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Kind of a gold.
Yes.
And it smells divine. I mean, hey, they know how to do it over there.
Over there in France.
Okay,
Yes,
they know how to do it, and we trying to do it the proper way here. But it's very tasteful, and I think that what I like about it, it's not going to be too heavy.
That's right.
With the dessert that we
That's
have,
right.
because this dessert is that we have here. I love it because you can actually enjoy it also with a cup of coffee as well. So if you're not one who wants to enjoy a good glass of wine at the end of the night, with your dessert, you can have that cup of coffee,
That's right.
or tea, whatever you like, because it'll blend and it
Right.
balances all out.
That's a great point.
Really
And this
well.
one, they compare this a little bit to beeswax. Because it's not only just the color, it's almost like a honeycomb. It's got a slightly more yellow gold, but that feel, it's the mouthfeel.
It's delicious.
It's like having honey drizzled on your brioche. It's like
beautiful.
perfect.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
perfect.
this is
Yeah,
excellent.
you don't get to take this home.
Okay. It's all yours, girl.
Exactly. It's all mine. Cheers. All right. Well, again, thank you all for enjoying and spending time with us on 3D. And a special thank you to Natalie Montez with Divino by Montez.
Thank you for
It has
having me.
been such a pleasure to have you here hanging out with me in my home, in my kitchen, as we celebrated a non-traditional Thanksgiving, and we hope that you all enjoy this. Look for our information. We will be back soon with more new episodes because, hey, it's a new year coming. We've got a lot of great things that we're looking forward to, and we just want to be able to share our lives in a different way with you all. It's not just about being in business, right? It's about truly friendship, fellowship, on top, like I said, the business, but there's so many other things that are about us, the day-to-day life.
And all we can do is just raise a glass to day-to-day life.
Right, and we're raising a glass because, like I said, it's new for us. It's something that we enjoy doing together. We have been with each other for a long time. It's been more than 10 years knowing each other, and so we've come full circle. But, like I said, you are fantastic at what you do, and I'm so thankful to have you in my life and thankful that you are here sharing your expertise with everybody else. Again, thank you all. Have a good night.